Coming up on RNE-TV, I head down to local churches to see how they're dealing with COVID-19. How are they keeping their members safe?
Plus, some students are struggling with the academic pressures of hybrid learning. What do teachers and administrators have to say? And one of our tweets at the homecoming game sparked a debate. Christy Perez has the details. Get ready because RNE-TV starts right now. Today is Monday, November 30th, and today is an A Day. I hope each of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving break. As we continue phase 2 of reopening schools, some of you guys are back face-to-face, while more than half of you have remained virtual. Regardless, RNE-TV has been posting on Twitter and Instagram regularly, so make sure you go follow us at Cavplex. While the district has been monitoring how to reopen schools safely, places of worship are also faced with some of the same challenges. Some churches have remained virtual, while others have opened their doors and are practicing social distancing. Some include teen worship services. Here's RNE-TV reporter Kirslyn Gunter with more.
Hallelujah, we are so thankful, so grateful for what is done.
COVID-19 has changed the church's normal way of running, making an obvious difference during worship.
Being here on Sunday mornings and not having the congregation with us, it presents a new challenge for us.
We are trying to do what we can virtually so that we can still reach our members and continue to keep their faith growing strong.
New safety measures are in place at St. John Baptist Church to help reduce the spread of COVID-19, while also doing their praise and worship.
The protocol for people coming in on Sunday, like the choir, the musicians, and anybody who may come in for worship, we have a protocol of social distancing, distancing for at least about 6 feet. And then, of course, we have to have masks and just make sure we keep our hands washed.
Churches are also trying to keep the young people involved during teen nights. Kids and teens at International Praise all congregate together to have their service.
Teen night is obviously where the teens come together and have service. We check for temperatures. We ask people to wear a mask when they're in close areas, and then maintain the social distancing.
While finding new ways to return back to their normal way of running, members of the church had to come together to create a plan that helps each member in the church.
The initial reaction is to this health and safety of my family and my church members. And so wanted to make sure that we comply with what the scientists said or what the doctors were saying at the time, especially as the pandemic began to increase and spread.
We went online for a while, and once things seemed to taper off, we decided to open back up with limited seating. We took out a lot of seats so that we could maintain social distancing.
Mask, number one. Everybody wearing masks. When the singers are not singing, masks. Musicians, we don't have to use our voices, so we just wear masks the whole service.
The youth of both churches try their best to stay involved during the pandemic. The extra safety measures put in place help bring comfort and hope back into the church.
After each service, they clean the chairs, and I feel safe with it, as long as I know that they're cleaning everything before each service.
So just because COVID-19 has impacted a lot of ways, don't give up, you know. We will find a way through this. So.
And the churches in Columbia have a plan to get through this. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Kirslyn Gunter.
Thanks, Kirslyn. Now let's get into some school news. On Halloween, students and staff handed out candy for the annual Trick or Trunk event. Clubs and organizations lined in front of the school with Halloween-themed tables and passed out pre-packaged bags of candy. Due to the pandemic, the event was a little different than previous years.
This year we decided to do Trick or Trunk a little differently because usually it's Trick or Trunk, so now I guess you could call it Trick or Table because we decided to include tables this year to convey to COVID-19.
This year we had to put all the candy in bags before because of COVID, and so we can give it out individually to all the kids, so like we're not spreading as much germs.
It's different this year because we have drive-through, and last year we had like a haunted house and like trunk or treat and stuff, so we won't be able to like touch people physically and give them candy and have fun like we did last year.
The evening before Trick or Trunk, the varsity football team hosted their annual homecoming game against Lugoff Elgin. During halftime, the homecoming finalists were announced. Homecoming king and queen were Elijah Slater and Rosalina Macon, and the prince and princess were Kirion McNair and Juliet Maxfield.
I'm really thankful that my classmates elected me to be a representation of the school and the embodiment of being an RNE student.
Honestly, it's so amazing. I wasn't really expecting this. At first, I did not want to run, but my student government members convinced me to run, and ultimately I did run, and I'm so glad that I did. And I thank everybody for supporting me and voting for me. It means a lot.
Late in the homecoming game, RNE had the chance to score the winning touchdown. With the game within reach, a controversial call ruled a pass incomplete, ending RNE's chance to score before overtime. Here is RNE-TV reporter Christy Perez with what happened in those critical moments.
You know, because it happened like right beside where I was standing, so it was a deep pass to Amir Cherry, and looked like to me it was like a clear catch. I mean, caught it, he didn't juggle the ball, got a foot down in bounds, and the official on our sideline actually called it incomplete.
You know, I catch the ball and I could have sworn like, you know, I felt like my feet hit the ground, of course, and I would make sure, you know, I was in bound. And then I remember I looked at the ref, they said, no good. I remember my coach, he was just mad and angry.
It was pretty clear that it was a catch, and you know, according to the people that saw it on Twitter, for the most part, everybody thought it was a clear catch.
Dozens of people reacted to the tweet, sharing how the pass was a complete pass. Not only was the pass called incomplete, but Coach Richardson also received a personal foul.
And you know, it happened at a crucial point in the game. You know, what followed, obviously, I got a personal foul, but you know, this sometimes that happens in the heat of the battle. I don't regret it at all. You just want everything to be as fair as possible. I thought that was a clear, like, can't miss call, and he missed it.
According to the South Carolina High School League rulebook, for a pass to be complete, you must have possession of the ball and one limb must touch the ground inbounds. A large challenge is that officials only get one chance to make the correct call.
They get one live action shot. They don't get to replay that in their mind. They don't get to pull out a video screen and scroll back through and enlarge and make it bigger and tell. That official had one chance in a split second to make a decision of whether the ball was in possession and the feet were in at the same time.
You know, calls like that have been getting missed all year long, and it's just kind of, it's unfortunate. You know, it's kind of is what it is.
If we see a constant pattern of things missed throughout the state week to week to week, we're going to address that with all of our officials.
While there may be flaws in the system, the High School League is working hard to educate their refs on making the best calls.
And typically we'll get anywhere from 10 to 15 every Monday from a Friday night. So when you get those clips, we try to make them an educational resource. Look, can you be in a better spot to make this call in the future? And a lot of our officials, we use that piece for the education. Not necessarily was the call right or wrong. Look at where you are. You know, could you be 5 to 8 yards further down the field that would give you a better chance to make this call correctly?
You can report calls to the High School League by emailing charlie@schsl.org. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Christy Perez.
Winter sports begin this week. We will have a full sports recap during our next show. Coming up after the break, we hear how students feel the academic pressures in virtual learning, and we try to find the imposter among us. We'll be right back.
Seen on TikTok, hot cocoa bombs are hot chocolate in the shape of bath bombs. To make this tasty treat, you would need hot chocolate, marshmallows, a cylinder mold, milk, chocolate. First, you want to melt the hot chocolate in a microwavable safe container for intervals of 10 to 15 seconds. Next, you want to coat the mold in chocolate and place in the freezer for 10 to 15 minutes. Then, gently take the chocolate out of the mold. Put hot chocolate and marshmallows on one side of the circle. Then melt the other side and put the two circles together. Now place your hot cocoa bomb and some hot milk.
Each shoe you see represents someone. Some shoes look clean and others have noticeable flaws. Some shoes even shine bright on the outside. But all of the shoes, even the ones that look clean, have imperfections. You just have to look inside or look closely to see them. You don't know what each person is going through unless you show empathy and put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Welcome back. You may be watching this show on your phone or on your Chromebook, but I doubt any of you are watching it in a classroom or on a clear screen. Typically, RNE-TV is live and is streamed to your class, but this year it's different. These changes have also impacted the expectations of your academic successes. We have received reports that students feel that their teachers are assigning more work than the traditional setting. RNE-TV reporter Camilla Hosendove reached out to teachers and administrators to get answers.
Good, it's the halogens.
This school year, students have experienced virtual and hybrid learning, but this model has some students feeling stressed and overwhelmed with an increase in the typical workload.
And then a good day goes by really quick. You got other things to do, and it's just like stressful because we're doing work in class, and then they want us to do work after class too.
IB students have recently felt the difference in their workload.
Because coming from the perspective of an IB student, we have the normal curriculum on top of the internal assessments, on top of research presentations, on top of oral presentations, things of that matter. And so it is a lot of work to do. And so a lot of the IB students, do tend to fall behind on some things because, we have a lot of work to do.
The average number of assignments differ per department, with English and math having the highest average.
It also just takes so much longer to get through material, especially, I don't know if it's true in other content areas, but definitely in English class, where it's just like, a project could take way longer, or reading a book could take way longer.
Although students are receiving more work, administration says teachers have to give the minimum of 9 formative and 2 summative assessments.
The 9 formative and the 2 summative assessments is just a minimum. So if they do give more, what it does is it helps the students grade. If they don't do well on a particular assignment, if there are more assignments, it'll help.
We have to be more patient right now with how long it takes us to do things.
While students are stressed about work, teachers are finding ways to support them.
There's one thing I try to ask. On my email signature I send out, I have a little quick Google form. How are you doing? Tell me what's going on.
Although the workload may be stressful, teachers and admin are open to providing help to students who need it. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Camilla Husendove.
If you feel like your first quarter grades are lower than normal, please reach out to your teachers. Tutoring is available every single Friday. The learning staff is also available on Friday from 1 to 1:30 for CARE-CAV's Google Meetings. You can check out the Cavalier update for the link. In between study sessions, it is important that you take time for yourself. And a way to do this is through mobile gaming. During the quarantine, a game skyrocketed to success and Jackson Patet hit the App Store. Take a look.
Among Us is a new game that combines a real-life game of Mafia with deceptiveness.
You have to know where people are at all times. You have to know where people are going to go.
With a max of 10 characters per lobby, players have the options to choose from 1, 2, or 3 imposters in a round.
I think the only acceptable number of imposters is 2 because 1 is just way too hard for them and 3 is way too easy. So 2 is the exact right way to go.
When being the imposter, the goal is to kill off all the crewmates before being voted out. The crewmate's job requires the players to complete different tasks around the map while paying attention to who might be the imposter. The game was created and put on the App Store in 2018 by Innersloth game developers. Many people believe that COVID-19 is to thank for the game's late success.
With COVID, not a lot of people were getting outside of their house and they weren't really hanging out with their friends. But with Among Us, it was you were playing a game and you were interacting with your friends. You could like do things you would never be able to do when you're just sitting at home playing other games.
Among Us has put a bright spot in many people's quarantine.
I get to play with my cousins and my friends. So while we're like talking to each other or trying to figure out who the imposter is, like being fun.
Among Us is free to download on the iOS App Store and Google Play Store. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Jackson Batet.
Thanks, Jackson. If you have a game obsession or a hobby RNE-TV should cover, make sure to tweet us at Catplex. We would love to cover it. Each year, student government hosts the Hope 365 initiative for those in need during the holiday season. This year, Convergence Media has decided to collect socks. So if you would like to donate socks in good condition, make sure to drop them off in the media center. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Reporting for RNE-TV, I'm Ebony Christie. Remember to wear your mask, and it is always a great day to be a Cavalier.